Hey, hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and today we're going to tackle one more passage in the IELTS reading test, especially in the Cambridge test. And as you can see, I've been doing a lot of IELTS reading passages right here, a lot of them to be honest, with the percentage of being right is kind of high, right? Okay, so today we'll tackle one more. Alright, I want to change the mood, I want something different, that's why I think I'm going to talk in English. Okay, talking English for today's passage number 2. What destroyed the civilization of Easter Island? For me personally, I think this one is kind of tough, and it can be even tougher for all of us to tackle it in English. But anyways, I want to challenge myself and try to do something new. Right, let's go for it. First thing first, I guess we need to figure out what are we doing by highlighting the question first, right? So for the first one, evidence and innovative environment management practice. Okay, we have some cues or some example of our place that is innovative. Alright, a place that is innovative. That's it. Right, next up, an undisputed answer. This one is adjective. I don't care about it. I care about the noun. Right, so we have an answer for a question about the moai. This is the terminology of this passage. This passage could be easy to define, right? Moai, right? Next up, number 3, the future of the moai statues. The future, alright. I think you can know what is statues mean, right? It is some sort of sculpture. Right? A rock sculpture, a bronze sculpture, for example. A theory which supports a local belief. Okay, this is the belief for the locals, and as well there's one more theories maybe from the scientists to support this. Right. Number 5, the future to Easter Island. Okay, this one is kind of easy, right? Number 6, to opposing view. To opposing view, it means that one view and the another view that fights with it, oppose it, right? About the revenue people. Okay, this one is okay. Move on, the destruction outside the inhabitants' control. Inhabitants is the people living in one place. Okay, so we have the destruction outside the inhabitant control, which means, for example, I am the Ho Chi Minh City's citizens, which means I cannot control this destruction. Right, move on to the next one, how the statues, right, made a situation worse. Okay, right, next up, diminishing food resources. What does diminishing mean? It means reducing, right, or doing something bad, negatively affecting something. Okay, food resources, the amount of food. Right, move on to the next one. Okay, we have filling in here, one word only. The word limit is only one. So Diamond believes, this is the names, right? Very easy to figure it out during our passage. Believes that Polynesian settlers mean the people, right? The people on Rapa Nui destroyed its forests, cutting down its trees for fuel, and clearing land, right? To cut down trees, right, for something. And in the 20th century discovery, Poland proved that Rapa Nui had once been covered in palm forest. Okay, it means that the pole comes from the palm forest, right? So move on. Which had turned into grassland by the time arrived on the island. Okay, grassland right here. So when the islanders, the people living in that islanders were no longer able, they are unable to do something, to build the something in here is supposed to be a noun, right? So they needed to go fishing, okay, and began using the island something, okay, as a food source, which means their former role in doing something to produce food is unable anymore. That's why they try to figure out new ways, for example, the fishing or depending on the something of the islands for food, right? According to Diamond, okay, Diamond also claim which means there's one more thing, right? Claims that the moai were built. I think moai is the statue, okay, were built to show the power, okay, of the island chieftains. Chief is a very important person, so chieftains, I think, the leader of that group. Yeah, in my opinion. So, and that the method of transporting the statues, okay, needed not only a great number of people, a lot of people, but also a great deal of something. Okay, kind of clear, right? Move on to the next one. What points do Hunt and Lippo disagree? They all disagree with diamonds. This one is kind of tough. So let's see. Let's find Hunt and Lippo. Do we have Hunt and Lippo in here? Nope, but I think we can see the settlers in here, right? Okay. The Hunt was Lippo. Lippo in here. Okay, so I think the question 25, 26 is this one. Paragraph D, right? Move on to reading the first passage. Go for it, right? So Easter Island, or Rapa Nui as it is known as locally, is home to several hundred of ancient human statues. This place is home to, which means there's a lot of things in there, specifically the ancient human statues. Okay, so Moai is some sort of human statues. Okay, so after this remote Pacific island that was settled by the Polynesians, the people, right? It remained isolated for centuries, which means there's not many people living there. For centuries, for a lot of time. So all the energy and resources that went into the Moai, which means there's not a lot of people, so the resources, the money, the energies was all for the Moai, the human statues, right? Some of which are 10-meter tall, which means the statues, right? It's very high and very heavy, came from the island itself. Okay, it's self-sufficient in the island. So yet, okay, we have one contradiction right here. When Dutch explorers, we have the people from the outside, right, landed in 1722, they met a Stone Age culture. So the Moai were carved with stone tools, okay, then transported for many kilometers, okay, without the use of animals or wheels, to massive stone platforms, okay, which means they are transported without the use of animals and wheels. There's no support from animals or wheels. It's just all about the builders, the strength of the builders, right? The identity of Moai builders was in doubt, which means unidentified, right? Until well into the 20th century revealed their identity, right? So Thor, some name in here, I don't care about its role, thought the statues had been created by the pre-Inca peoples. Thought, is it correct? Not so sure, right? Best-selling Swiss author, one more people in here, believe they were built by stranded extraterrestrial. Thor believe it is this person, but Danny can believe it is another. Two kind of people in here. So modern science, linguistics, archaeological and genetic evidence had definitively proved the Moai builders were Polynesians. Okay, we have so many views in here. For talking about one people, Daniken one more, and the people in today's generation tells that it's about the Polynesians, right? So, but not how they move the creations, not how they transported the creation, which means the statues, right? Local folklore maintains that the statues walk. Oh, what the hell? The statue walk, okay? While researchers have tended to assume the ancestor dragged the statue somehow using ropes and locks. They capitalize on ropes and locks to deliver or transport the statues somewhere. Okay, move on to the first one. Okay, paragraph A, which one? Okay, evidence of innovative environment management practice, an undisputed answer to a question about Moai. So what is the question here? What is the undisputed question here? We have one question, which is who is the owner or who built the human statue Moai, right? Who built? And we have so many suggestions right here from Thor, from Daniken, and from the modern science as well. All right, so we have a lot of questions. Our answers for one question: who is the builder? Okay, so I think this one is the answer. Okay, and this one is absolutely correct, right? Okay, for that reason, I'm gonna highlight the whole sentence right here. Okay, move on to the second one. But until we move on to the second one, we need to figure out, do we have any answers for gap filling type? So diamond, do we have diamond in here? No, right? Polynesian settlers here. Where's diamond? Do we have diamond here? Ah, diamond right here. Okay, so for the first paragraph, the paragraph A cannot give any explanation or answer for this type. Okay, what about this one? Hunt and Leopold is way down here. Okay, move on to the next one. Okay, when the Europeans arrived, Rapa Nui was grasslands. So Rapa Nui is a place, right? This one is the place, the Easter Island. Alright, with only a few scrawny trees, a lot of grass, and some of the trees. In the 1970s and the 1980s, though, researchers found pollen, preserved in lake sediments, which proved the island had been covered in lush palm forests for thousands of years. This sounds familiar to me. It's right here. Right? Believe that Polynesian settlers on Rapa Nui destroyed its forests, cutting down trees for fuels and clearing land for something, I don't think I don't see any clearing land, right? But only the Polynesians arrived did those forests disappear, which means clearing land right here. So US scientist Jared Diamonds believe that the Rapa Nui people, descendants of Polynesian settlers, wreck their own environment. Wreck means doing something harmful or harm the environment. Right, so they had unfortunately settled on an extreme fertile island, which is an island that is not sufficient in terms of food or resources. Fragile, dry, cool, or too remote to be properly fertilized by windflow volcanic ash. Okay, this is the fragile island. Some of the properties. So when the islanders clear the forest, this one right here, for firewood and farming, destroys forest, cutting down trees for fuel. Fuel means firewood, right? And farming, clearing land for farming, right? This one is correct answer. So 20th century discovery. 20th century right here, right? Poland proved that, as you can see, there's a switch from the first one and the second one, right? Question 21 is supposed to be right here, but it switched onto the first position, right? So next up, which had turned grassland by the time Europeans arrived on the island. When the islanders were no longer able to build something, they need to go fishing. Nothing talk about building. Alright, so let's keep diving. As trees became scarce mean rare, right? Hardly found. And they could no longer construct good canals. Construct mean to build, right? To build, right? This one is supposed to be canoes. So for fishing, they ate birds as a food source. So this is supposed to be birds, right? Okay, according to Diamond also claimed that Moai were built to show the power. Let's see what's the power. Soil erosions decrease their crop yields, which means that the land is not fertile enough for growing a tree, right? So before Europeans arrived, the Rapa Nui has descended into civil war and cannibalism. He maintained the collapse of the isolation civilization worst case scenario for what they may lie ahead of us in our future. Nothing talking about our power right here, right? Nothing talking about power. So I think this one would talk about power, right? Well, maybe this one, dominance. Okay, so question 24 cannot stay undone, right? Move on to the next one, question 15. Do we have any answer for question 15, guys? This one, diminishing food source, right? Which means they cannot build canoes. They cannot go out for fishing. That's why they eat birds for food, right? Diminishing food resources, or to a certain extent of the time, they also eat people. This word cannibalism, which means eating people of the same kind, right? So the question, the answer is number 9. Number 9. Okay, lovely. Move on to the next one, right? So down here is not, there's nothing talking about Hunt and Lippo, so keep it right there. Move on to this next one. So the Moai, the human statues, he thinks accelerated the self-destruction. Diamonds interprets them as power display. Okay, display powers up there, show the power of the rival chieftains who trapped on a remote little island. Lacks are the ways to exerting their dominance, which means that they are the leader. They want their voices to be raised. Everybody would heard it. All right, but there's nothing else for them to do so. That's why they built huge statues called moai, okay, to exerting their dominance, to show their power, that they are strong, that they are powerful, for people to obey them, right? This is the key point of the moai, right? So question 24, let's see. Great number of people and also something. They completed building ever bigger figures. Figures mean the statues, right? Diamond thinks they led the moai on wooden sledges, haunt over long rails, but okay, it's thought to be so, but which means it is not correct anymore. That require both a lot of goods and a lot of people. So a great deal of goods, right? And people. This one is kind of clear, right? So to feed people, okay, people grab something to eat, so even more land had to be cleared, right, to find more food. When the wood was gone and civil war began, the islanders began toppling the moai. What does it mean, toppling? I don't get it, right? By the 19th century, none was standing. Are they eating the island? Are they eating the statues? I'm not so sure about that, right? So move on to question 16, right? Which one is the correct answer, guys? How a statues made a situation worse. Oh, this one is kind of correct, right? Because the statues is a way, a representation of power for chieftains, for the leaders, right? This one. That's why a lot of leaders keep building it, and to build it and transport them, they need to eat a lot of food, and for that reason, the island got damaged further, right? Now, so this one is letter 8, right? 8, okay? Clear. Well, this is my first time. Oh no, it's not. It's actually not my first time talking in English, but I find it pretty captivating for me. So I could do something more in the future. If you guys can understand what I said, or you guys can follow the instruction clearly. Okay, move on to the next one. Letter D, right here. Down here, disagree, let's find a disagreement in here. So archaeologists, we have Hunt and Lippo, okay, agree, they agree, right? Each island lost its lush forest, which means clear the forest, and it was an ecological catastrophes. Catastrophes mean disaster. So, but they believe that islanders themselves weren't to blame, so the islanders was not the culprit, right? So and the moai certainly weren't. Of course, it's a statue, it's an object, right? Archaeological excavation indicates that the Rapa Nui went to heroic efforts to protect the resources of their windlash infertile field. Okay, a lot of people think that the islander, damage or endanger the island, but the point is they strive to protect it. Okay, they built thousands of circular stones, windbreaks, and gardens inside them, and used broken volcanic rocks to keep the soil moist. A lot of actions to keep their habitats, right, survived, right. In short, Hunt and Lippo argue. Argue means disagree, right? The prehistoric Rapa Nui were pioneer sustainable farming. They are the persons that spearhead the way to sustainable farming. So this one disagree with Diamond. So Diamond says that they are the culprit, the destructors of the island. Okay, but Hunt and Lippo disagree about that. So the answer is, so question 25 and 26 is the period where Moai was created, a time created. This is not given, right? I don't see any point in this paragraph. How the Moai was transported. How the Moai were transported. This one is Hun and Lippo still here. Moving the Moai, so this could be the correct answer. So see, the impact of Moai on Rapa Nui society. Yes, right. The impact, because it leads to sustainable farming, right? Instead of doing harm to their lives, right? Letter C is correct. How the Moai were carved, not mentioned. The origin of people who made the Moai. Okay, let's see. Just letter B and E, right? A and D is eradicated. Move on to the next one. So letter D, which one is the correct answer? Up here, number 17. Evidence of innovative environment management practice. Innovative means sustainable, something positive. Okay, it means that they build the circular stones to windbreaks and garden inside them and do something to moist the soil. Right, this one is correct answer. Great job. Let's go for it. Okay, 18, 19, and 20. Let's go. Okay, we finished all the gap filling type in here. Right, so Hun and Lippo contend that they agree that Moai building was an activity that helps keep the peace between the islanders. One positive sign. And they also believe that moving the Moai requires few people and no words. It's easy to transport these statues, right? So the answer is this one. The answer is this one. How the Moai was transported. Not much people included. Not much words included. This is the opposition of the diamond's point of view, aforementioned. Because they walked upright. Okay, on that issues, Hunt and Lippo say archaeological evidence packed up Rapa Nui folklore. Recent experiment indicates that as few as 18 people could, with 3 strong ropes and a bit of practice, easily mend over. Okay, which means it requires just only 18 people and only a rope, alright, to transport the statues somewhere. This figure, fat belly, tighter them forward and D-shaped base lower handles for roll and rock them side to side, which means the statues can be rolled, just like a rock, right? So yeah, this one is correct. So move on to the next one, question number 18. Which one is correct, guys? Okay, I have right here is the folklores, which mean the stories for the local people, right? And here backups means support, so the answer is this one, a theory, right? Theory means something related to archaeological or science, right? It's some sort of an evidence. This one is number 4, right? Number 4. Correct. Number 19. Okay, we still have 2 more to go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 answer for 2 questions. 2 out of 4. So moreover, Hunt and Lippo are convinced, they are agree that the settlers were not wholly responsible for the loss of island trees, which means the people living in there is not the only one who hold the accountability for the island's damage, right? Archaeological finds of nuts from extinct Easter Island pond show tiny groups made by teeth of some sort of animal, which is rats, right? The rats arrive along with the settlers, which mean the actors that harm the environment is not the people themselves, maybe the rat, the animal, right? And just a few years, Hunt and Lippo calculated they would have overrun the island. Overrun means that a lot of numbers of rats, now a great deal of rats appeared on the island, so they would have prevented the receding of slow-growing palm trees and thereby doomed the Rapa Nui forest. And even without the settlers' campaign of deforestation, no doubt the rats ate birds' eggs too. It sounds kind of true, right? Because the people there cannot build canoes. For that reason, they have to eat birds, and birds is on the decline in terms of population because the rats eat them. right? Hunt and Lippo also see no evidence of Rapa Nui civilization collapsed when the palm forest did. Okay, I think its population grew rapidly. The number of people living there grew rapidly and then remained more or less stable until this time. Who introduced deadly diseases? Oh, some sort of diseases like COVID-19, for example, to which islands that had no immunity, have nothing to fight back that disease. So then in the 19th century, slave traders decimated the population, which means do something negative, right? Okay, so number 19, letter F, is destruction outside inhabitants controlled. Okay, some sort of disease, or the rats, or something related to here, the arrival of Europeans. They introduced some deadly diseases, killing people, which means they cannot control the disease, right? This one is letter number 7. Number 7 is kind of clear. So move on to the last one. So Hunt and Lippo's vision, therefore, is one of an island populated by peaceful and ingenious Moai builders and careful stewards of the island. The place where the local people lives, okay, rather than reckless destroyers, rather than people from the outside that bring something deadly, for example, like deadly diseases or some action that could harm the place, right? Rather than a case of abject failure, Rapa Nui is unlikely story of success. It cannot be a successful story. So Rapa Nui is an okay, whichever is the case, there are surely some valuable lessons which the world at large can learn from the story of Rapa Nui. Okay, it's just the conclusion of the whole paragraph. So which one is correct? Which one is correct? Vision. This is the opinion of Hunt and Lippo's, right? Rather than something, which means that rather than the assumption of diamonds aforementioned, right? So this is two opposing fields about Rapa Nui people, while diamond maintained that Rapa Nui people is the culprit for the disasters appeared on the island, but Hunt and Lippo believes that the main culprit is not about the local people, is about the rats, the animal, and also the interventions of people from the outside, right? So we have two opposing views here. So the letter is number 6. Let's see, do we correct all of them? What? Where's the answer? Wait, what? What's the answer? Oh, it's all correct, guys. It's all correct right here. Okay, it's all correct, huh? Okay, so that's it for today's lessons. I hope you guys can learn something new. But I just force myself to speak English a little bit. So maybe next time I will get back to Vietnamese, right? That's it for today's video. See you in the next one. Bye.